The information on that confidential informant card didn't just leak. It tore through the community like a rumor mill. Michael Bohr mapped out exactly how Heidi Allen's confidential status passed from one person to the next, documenting the flow of information in a complex, coded puzzle chart. If you look at the upper left corner of this chart, you'll find the starting point. The name Judy Spencer Hogan, placed next to the year 1982. That year is a specific clue. It marks the passing of Judy's sister, Ruth Byrne. Judy, who had three other sisters, Mary Searles, Kay Allen, and Ellen Raby, was actually Heidi Allen's aunt. Tragically, Judy passed away in early April 1994, mere days before Heidi vanished. On the chart, this timeline is symbolized by a cross and the notation "Aunt died." But the connection goes deeper. Judy's nickname was Julia, which directly mirrors Heidi Allen's confidential code name, Julia Roberts. In the context of Bohr's puzzle, Judy Hogan Spencer is Heidi Allen. Now, look at the line drawn straight down the center of the paper. This represents the catalyst event, the critical moment when Heidi's status was exposed. It points to January of 1992, exactly 1 month after 16-year-old Heidi Allen became a confidential drug informant for the Oz Sheriff Department. This was the moment the CI card was dropped and the secret got out. That central line draws a direct path to a woman named Patty Redhead. But who is she, and how does she connect to this flow of information? The answer lies in the Redhead and Dual family trees, meticulously detailed by Bohr. If you read the chart from right to left, it reveals exactly how individuals like Daniel Barney and Michael Bohr discovered that Heidi was an informant. It works like this. Patty Redhead is the sister-in-law to Judy Redhead. Judy is the sister of Arnold Redhead. Arnold, in turn, married Marilyn Dual, who is the daughter of Edwanda and Lauren Dual. The branches of the Dual family spread even further from there. A blank line on the chart represents Thomas Dual, Edwanda's son, who married Nancy Halsey. Through this tangled web of family ties, the confidential information flowed from one person directly to the next. Let's look at the next generation. The children of Thomas Dual Sr. and Nancy Hasley Dual are Thomas Dual Jr., along with Matt and Jody Dual, who come into the picture via Nancy and Wayne Wick Dual Jr. The crucial moment of discovery happens with Matt Dual's wife, Chris Dual. She is the one who actually finds the CI card and file. This discovery answers the only questionable clue written at the bottom of the page. Who brought the card in? There are two answers to that: the Oz Sheriff Department and Christine Dual. On the chart, Patty Redhead serves a dual purpose. She represents Chris and Matt Dual, along with that direct Redhead family connection. And secondly, she represents the Oz Sheriffs. So, how did the information leak? It comes down to school and work ties. The high school connection is massive. Matt and Chris Dual attended Mexico Academy alongside a very specific group: Daniel Barney, Officer Van Patten, the very officer who signed Heidi Allen up as an informant, James Steen, Brett Law, Roger Breckenridge, Barney's wife Julie, and Shelley Denny Sanchez. This formed a tight group of associates, friends, co-workers, and relatives. Once Chris found the file, the secret traveled straight through this channel of family and friends, landing directly with Daniel Barney and Michael Bohr. But the overlap doesn't stop at high school. It extends to the workplace. Marilyn Redhead worked for East Coast Resorts. Michael Bohr was also working there in telemarketing, and he knew all about Heidi Allen's confidential card being dropped in the parking lot of the D&W store, the exact same location where she would later vanish from. As Bohr said, they made her disappear, and it's different from what everyone else believes. This creates a clear, undeniable chain. It starts with the physical discovery of the file by Chris Dual, moves through the family and friend network, jumps to Daniel Barney, and then heads right over to East Coast Resorts for office gossip. Thomas Dual is the brother-in-law to Arnold Redhead, which solidifies the bridge between the Dual and Redhead families. Then we have the Oswego Speedway and Mexico High School nexus. John Petty, an Oswego race car driver, attended Mexico High School with both Judy Redhead and Patty Redhead, but the connections on the track go even deeper. The Dual family are huge racing fans who donate to the Oswego Speedway, and they actually race right alongside John Petty, bumping elbows with him at the track. Meanwhile, Patty Redhead is friends with Danny West, which bridges the network over to the Roger Breckenridge families. Add in Richard Murtaugh, an avid racer deeply involved in the Oswego Speedway alongside John Petty and their associates. The Oswego Speedway acts as a major hub for this entire group, a central node connecting relatives, coworkers, and friends far outside the immediate family tree. Finally, let's trace the exact chain of custody for this breach. It starts with a discovery. Chris Duell finds a CI card. Next is the first transfer. Chris passes the information to her mother under a strict promise of secrecy. Then comes the escalation. The secret is broken. The information travels from both Chris and her mother to the rest of the family members. Ultimately, we hit the terminal nodes. The fractured secrecy allows the information to spread like wildfire through overlapping networks. The schoolyard friends at Mexico High School, the co-workers at East Coast Resorts, and the social scene at the Speedway. In the end, all those channels lead straight to Daniel Barney and Michael Borer. The complexity of this network is really staggering. Borer mapped out a highly insulated, interwoven community where information could travel rapidly through multiple overlapping channels. Tracking how this leak escalated from a contained family secret into wider circulation is a critical juncture. It is especially striking when you map the jump from this tight-knit Oswego and Mexico High School circle over to Michael Borer and East Coast Resorts. Considering Borer's distinct background and roots trace back to Milwaukee, rather than this immediate local network. Yet, Borer detailed the Duell and Redhead family tree as if he had pure, insider knowledge of the entire linkage of everyone involved. And yet the Oz sheriffs bypassed all the connections that led up to the disappearance of a young confidential informant out of New Haven, New York. Suppose it is fitting they call it Oz. After all, only in Oz do the sheriffs actively bypass critical, factual, and logical information, looking at a meticulously documented web of hard facts and somehow convincing themselves that a staggering multitude of mathematically impossible coincidences magically equals innocence in the kidnapping of Heidi Allen. Heidi did all she could to make Oz a better place. Her courage is undeniable.